Hi guys, it's Nancy and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are all doing well. Guess what? It's still summer. You know, summer is a wonderful time for all of your garden vegetables, your squash and your peppers. I have a great roasted rosemary vegetable dish that I want to share with you today. You know, pan dishes, one pan dishes are so awesome. And in something like this, you just need a good protein, roasted vegetables, and you have a great summer dinner. Okay, are you ready to see how it goes? Let's go. Okay, let's look at our array of vegetables here. We have red onion, red bell peppers, yellow squash, white squash, green bell pepper. We also have mushroom and carrots. Look at these nice sized carrots. All right, I can't wait to get started. I've cleaned my veggies. Now, I don't normally peel my vegetables because I love the extra added vitamin and proteins and nutritional, aspects of cooking with the skin. But I do like to go ahead and remove the skin on my carrots. And so I'm just doing that here. You know, I debated on which root vegetable I'd use for these roasted veggies and decided upon a carrot because they can get so sweet. Normally I'd use a butternut squash, but sometimes they tend to get a little mushy, and I just didn't want that texture today. So I'm going ahead and using a carrot instead. And again, they are so sweet. What can I do with these leftover shreds here? All right, so here's the carrot. I'm going to make them in pretty big pieces, but then I'll go in and divide them down the middle just so that they don't take so long to cook. You have to remember that you're cooking things like squash and the texture is a little softer, so you want to give everything the opportunity to cook evenly. Okay, here is my white squash. Sometimes I hear this as being called a Mexican squash, but in the grocery store it's called a white squash, and I am leaving the skin on that. I have my yellow zucchini. Such a beautiful color when you are roasting vegetables. You know, you get that whole rainbow effect, and this yellow squash really does add to that. It's a beautiful squash. And again, I'm leaving the skin on there to kind of take advantage of the nutrients that come with that. Here is my red bell pepper. I love a red bell pepper. They're so sweet, you know. And so I'm going to use the entire red bell pepper because I think it is such a perfect addition to grilled veggies, roasted veggies. You know, you can get some really sweet ones in the grocery store. And of course they have orange bell pepper, yellow bell pepper. But if you're looking to add a pop of color, the red bell pepper is so great. And again, just a very sweet veggie once you roast it. So I'm going to add that. I also have a green bell pepper here, but I'm only going to use about half of the green bell pepper because it's more of a, I don't know, it's not as sweet as the red, of course, and so I don't want it to kind of overtake the sweet red pepper. So I have some green bell pepper, and you can see the size of those peppers. I'm making them pretty chunky because, of course, as you're roasting your veggies, they shrink on you. So you want to keep that in mind. Now here is my onion, and I am going to cut those a little smaller. And here is the Bella mushrooms. I believe that's what they're called. I'm going to go ahead and remove the stem and just kind of cut the larger pieces in half, but I will leave some of those mushrooms whole. And we won't be initially adding the mushrooms in with the other roasted vegetables because, of course, it doesn't take them as long to cook. Okay, here are all my roasted veggies. Well, veggies that I will roast, I should say. But they're all cleaned and chopped and ready to go. Now let's season these pretty things on up. I am going to go ahead and use a combination of garlic oil. So this is an olive oil that I have that's garlic infused. And I'm going to also use a red vinegar. So the best thing about a red vinegar is that it will crisp your vegetables for you. In other words, it will kind of naturally make them caramelized. The vinegar acts as a natural way to caramelize your veggies. Okay, I have black pepper, garlic powder, and salt. That is all that I'm adding to my veggies here in addition to the oil and vinegar. And we'll give them a nice mix. You know, you could get really creative with your vegetable seasonings. This is what I had on hand and actually probably what I would always use. I really do love this garlic infused olive oil. And I picked this up from Trader Joe's. I've showcased it a couple of times on my channel. I'm using 1 tablespoon of that, and I'm just going to eyeball the vinegar. Of course, no points for the vinegar, 4 points for a tablespoon of oil. And so I would probably jot this recipe down as 1 point for the veggies because there are probably about 4 servings there. So here are the veggies with all of our seasonings. Looks really good. Our carrots, our zucchini, bell pepper, onion, green bell pepper. And again, we're going to add those mushrooms a little bit later. You want to stir and make sure, of course, that you get your seasoning on every little bit of your veggies, you know. That is certainly a key to flavor, is to ensure that you are seasoning well. And I'm using this big kind of Tupperware bowl here. It's a flat bowl, and it just allows a lot of the veggies to sit well and get seasoned. Okay, last seasoning step is a bit of rosemary. Rosemary works really great in this recipe, and it gives it a wonderful herbal flavor. And I really love cooking with rosemary when I'm roasting chicken, you know, so it seems like a natural fit. So adding a little bit of rosemary here and giving that a toss. All right, let's spray our cooking tray. And then we're going to go ahead and, of course, add our veggies directly onto that. I have preheated my oven actually to 400 degrees. And it worked out well. And I roasted these for about a half hour, 40 minutes maybe. I'm also making a tri-tip roast. So I was able to roast them both at the same time. I'll show you a little bit of that roast. And it's a wonderful, simple meal. A roasted meat and a roasted vegetable. A hearty vegetable roast. That's all you really need. So there we have it here. Again, 400 degrees. I'll stick that in the oven. All right, looks good. Now let's get our mushrooms together. So I'm just going to go ahead and add them into the bowl that I used with the veggies because of the residue of all of those seasonings are there. I'll probably add a little bit more of that vinegar just because I want them to caramelize up as well. Okay, 400 degrees. My mushrooms are nice and seasoned now. Okay, first flip out of the oven. You know, you want to take them out maybe twice during the cooking process. Give them a good stir. Flip them over a little bit so that the caramelization can get on both sides of your veggies. Smells really good. Looks good. And you know, you want to be careful on this step because you don't want to break them apart by being too rough because of course they are getting, you know, nice and tender as they sit in the oven. So be careful with your veggies. But again, you might want to do this twice. And you might want to taste at this point, see if you want to add a little more salt or pepper. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add my mushrooms here. I think that I'm halfway through the cooking process, so it's a great time to go ahead and add my mushrooms. And we'll go ahead and add this back into the oven. Okay, here's my tri-tip. It's out of the oven, looking really good. We just roasted it on 400 degrees. We have our roasted veggies now. That caramelization is so nice, especially on those carrots. It just tastes like candy, you know? Vegetable candy. And look how nice that caramelization has gotten on those zucchini as well. You know, this is just such a simple, nutritious, roasted recipe. And it goes with any protein side, salmon, chicken. You know, I like to do this and keep it in my fridge after I've roasted them and just kind of munch on them all week. They are really sweet, you know, and so really good and nutritious. Awesome recipe. We have gone ahead and sliced up that tri-tip, and we're going to add that to our plate, of course. 7 points for 4 ounces of this tri-tip, and there is my dinner plate. An 8-point dinner, and it was so satisfying and delicious. I hope that you give roasting your summer vegetables a try. It, again, is just a delicious, fun way to take advantage of the colors of the rainbow. Well, what did you think of that recipe? I hope that you really enjoyed it and that you remember that it's still summer. So even if you don't have a garden of your own, you could find these vegetables in your grocery store and take advantage of them. So many squashes and peppers. A wonderful, wonderful way to get some vegetables into your life. And of course, enjoy the rest of the abundance that summer has to offer us. Okay, guys, until the next video, see you next time. Bye.